What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about Earn Your Leisure, Investfest, and these comments that Rashad has been letting out about the black folks. All right, now you know on my channel I've spoken at length about the man from my city, Dr. Umar Johnson, and all the scams he was pulling, all the lies he's been telling, all the stuff that's been coming out of his mouth that's not true. Well, Earn Your Leisure. Okay, these guys are from Yonkers, New York. All right, and I wish success for all black men when they're doing the right thing. Earn Your Leisure, I'm sure, has done a lot to help folks. Okay, I'm not saying that they've just done evil, but they have had people come on their platform that have said all kind of scammy stuff, and the guys at Earn Your Leisure have not really tried to work that out to let people know this was wrong. Sometimes they may have removed the certain things, but they never, from what I've seen, ever come out and said, look, we apologize, this was wrong, okay? But instead, they've come out against those who tried to tell them what they were doing was wrong, leading black people in the wrong direction. All right. Now, Investfest is something that, in my mind, they're from Yonkers, New York. Investfest is in Atlanta. And it seems like, from what I've seen online, the few clips I've seen online, it seems like they kind of hating on Atlanta to the point where the mayor of Atlanta had to come out and be like, yo, don't listen to what they saying. I think he may have said, listen, y'all can go somewhere else if y'all want to. All right. I'm like, well, let me just say, player, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Let's go.
If they say that they're not getting XYZ from you, overdose and give it to them. When I saw I had an hour, I said, ooh, I'm glad he did 120. So then all the notes on the back end, I'm like, okay, let's find a way to make content pieces out of all of it. And the same thing used to happen with Apple versus Microsoft. Remember the Apple versus PC campaign? They would take all the complaints that non-Apple users would have and they turned them into commercials. And that became a rallying cry. And it's another thing. David versus Goliath, big brand versus small brand. There's some themes that you can follow in business that will allow you to put you in the same conversation. That's why when I first came out, I said the greatest investor of this generation, this era, I was comparing me to Buffett, not to nobody else. There's a reason why I did that. So you immediately will say, Ian's not as good as Buffett. But now it places me above everyone else who's below Buffett. It at least puts me in a conversation. If I've made you money, can I get a hell yeah in the comments? Because there's not many people in the world that can do that. Y'all can say what y'all want to. I say I'm the greatest because I helped a bunch of people make a bunch of money for free. With love. With love. With love. All jokes aside, how wonderful is it that we're known for this? I was here in 2007. The thought was, how can somebody be the new BMF? In 2008, 2009, 2010. There wasn't a conversation around investing because when I was having it, nobody knew what indexing was.
Okay, now this guy right here, Ian Dunlap, okay, that's what it's saying. All right, that's this guy's name here. All right. Now this guy is not the regular guy that is on Earn Your Leisure. All right. Truth be told, I think I forget the other guy's name, but I know that's not the regular. This is not the regular guy that's on Earn Your Leisure. Okay, the other guy, but this is a guy I guess where they have. At least from some years ago, they had another brother. I don't know where that dude is at. But this guy just said something which I think is wild. I have nothing against him saying that he wanted to say he was the best investor. Anybody can hype himself up or say that's what they believe. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But he literally said, look, nobody back then around 2007 was thinking about investing. You serious? My man said nobody was thinking about investing. Now, I was riding with the guy, okay? Because I'm like, I don't know who this guy really is. So I'm not going to hate on him. But when he made that comment, that immediately was like, nah. I was like, nah, can't do it. Because when you hear somebody say something, a statement like that, I immediately say to myself, okay, so number one, you're lying. And that's telling me that if you will lie there, where else are you lying? Lying is not something that is off the table for you. You understand what I'm saying? On top of that, makes me wonder if everything that's coming out of your life, coming out of your, well, not your baby, I guess your life possibly, but coming out of your mouth, meant to say, is partially a lie. All right, because he said once again in 2007 he was the only one doing it, and that's simply not true. And I really don't like when people do that, especially black folks when we do that, because when we do that, we're basically putting down other black people when we include other black folks and say, look, I'm always the only one. So you're lifting yourself up, but you're doing it by putting other black folks down. Let's continue.
All jokes aside, And some of the things that we're even known for this. Some of the dumbest things that I've seen online before, even before the event, somebody was like, we have events like this every single week in Atlanta. You're an idiot for saying that. You never there's no event in the world like that. And like I said, this is coming from people that actually are qualified to speak. Somebody like Mike Novogratz, somebody like John Morgan, somebody like Lewis Carr.
Now I saw somebody online showing how they were saying that in Atlanta they do have a lot of investing things going on every single week. Even here in Philly, we got investing things going on all the time. People trying to teach you stuff. I actually just came from a networking event where there's a guy that had a shirt on that said something like, what did the shirt say? It says something like saying that he knew how to invest. I forget what it was saying. Something about side options. Okay, I forget exactly what it was saying. But it was talking about him. It basically was saying he's like, he the guy you want to go to if you don't learn about options and whatnot. Okay. But there's definitely, you can look online, you can definitely see a lot of stuff. And I know that Atlanta, they call it the black mecca of the USA. There's a lot of stuff going on. But what this guy Rashad is saying is, what he's trying to say is that even though y'all may have stuff going on, our joint has 30,000 people at it. That's what I believe was the number of people at Investfest, 30,000 people, which is a lot of folks. All right, so maybe he's just trying to say, no, our numbers are way above y'all numbers. Okay, we something different.
Who's seeing the event, who's seeing 30,000 people, let alone 30,000. But I'm not even on the black thing no more. I never was on the black thing. Not a black event. Because I seen somebody else had said that, like, it was white people.
Now, mind you, Investfest is something that these guys from Earn Your Leisure created, I think in like 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, they created this whole Investfest thing. Now, they created this thing towards the black folks, all right, because their channel is geared towards black people, and it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. All right. When you watch Earn Your Leisure, you do not see a ton of white people on their channel. All right, I watch them from time to time, like skim through their stuff, like over the years. You never see a lot. I don't think I've ever seen any white person come be brought on as a guest. I'm sure they get somebody that maybe does not notice it, but I have not seen that. You know what I'm saying? So, and like for example, I'll give you an example, right? There's a time where if y'all watch, what's the guy's name? He was talking about Earn Leisure, doing an excellent job breaking down what they was doing. Pocket watching with JT. Okay, remember that time some years ago? If y'all know what I'm talking about, where Earn Leisure had him 500 on, and him 500 was telling people to basically commit bank fraud. Did you see any white people on that panel? No, it was him 500 and some other black folks and people from Earn Leisure, and he was saying, run this play. And that's how you earn your leisure. It was no white people there. It was only black people there. Okay, so people been saying that it seems kind of odd that now you're saying I was never pitching this towards black folks. Well, you definitely came up from black folks. That's something that I personally know as a fact that they definitely came up from black folks. It's just like, for example, the people that do that show, Pop the Balloon or Find Love. Okay, or Arlette, whatnot. If she came out and said, "Listen, our show not about black folks necessarily," people were saying, well, you definitely made a lot of money off of black folks with that show, didn't you? But now you're going to say it's not about black people. And they'll be right to say that. And it's the same thing with them. All right. But let's continue. Let's hit play. We continue.
Yeah, they're qualified to be there. Like, what do you mean? Like, you think I'm going to cater just to black people just to get torn down by black people? You out of your fucking mind. It's going to be even more white people next year. And Spanish and the Filipinos, of course. Like, I'm done. It's been real. Yeah. Well, yeah, for what? The only thing you're going to do is criticize.
Now, the reason why people criticize is because, it's a lot of reasons why, okay? Some people have been saying that, just like their podcast, that it was scammy stuff going on. Like I said, with them bringing him 500 on, who promoted bank fraud, open bank fraud, and they didn't try to deny it. They didn't deny that, nothing like that. Okay, let it stay up there. All right. I don't know if they had him 500 back or whoever, but people were saying there was scammy stuff going on. That they had people speaking who didn't know who really weren't qualified to talk about stuff at an event called Investfest. Now, I will say this, that it's good that black people try to have a thing called Investfest to help people invest, even though Investfest is not free, which is something that's very important. I say that. Not like they're just offering this free to the community. It costs hundreds of dollars to go to Investfest. Understand that. So if people want to complain, they have all the right in the world to complain. Just like people will complain about Fire Festival and all other kind of stuff, because Fire Festival is not free. Okay, it costs a lot of money to go to Fire Festival. People got there, it was a mess. So people would pay, I think, $300 or whatever dollars. I'm sure it was tiers to it of getting in the Investfest, and they see a bunch of stuff they feel like it's not really causing them learn anything, and that's why people go there to learn, then you can't be surprised if people will complain. Okay, once again, they are paying. I'm the person. I actually have events that I throw every month. Okay, so I have heard people at times have complaints about certain things. Certain things you can't really what's the word? You can't really help. Certain people may complain about nothing can be done about it. Certain times you can do things. Like there's been times I've spoken to people after events, and they say you can approve on this, and that, and then next time we did it and more so. You know what I mean? So I feel like why is he even crying? In my opinion, like he's almost like he's crying about this in the first place. But and for me, so I don't have a lot of pity for him for Earn Leisure because they actually let people come on their podcast who have been scamming multiple times. Okay, multiple times. So it's not like they're just like the guys who only trying to help folks. They knew people were scamming. They brought them on and kept them moving, and not even that concerned about how it was affecting black folks. So you could say because of that, that's why I'm not surprised that they're saying right now we don't really need black folks like that. That's kind of what he's saying here in a roundabout way.
And tear it down, and not pay and want to get it for free anyway. Rashad, if black people built this, we can't turn up backs on black people. No, I'm never. But I'm saying it's all inclusive. Oh yeah, for sure. And so I just want people to understand that right now. Don't ever think that it's not an all inclusive thing. But it was always all inclusive from the beginning. People have put labels on you that you yourself didn't put on yourself. Oh, we never called it the Black Investment Conference. Yeah.
But he act like that's not really what it is. Okay, I mean, come on now. I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you an example. I have Christian singles mixers, right? Every single month here in Philadelphia, right? Now, sometimes it's not the same every single time, but sometimes the demographic is actually a lot of black people, black women, black men. It's usually more black people than anybody else because Philadelphia is like 40-something% black folks. But it's people that come from the suburbs, people that come from Jersey, okay, to this event. Some folks come every single. Some folks have come multiple times, okay, from different areas, different states. All right, that's something that we've seen. How you promote? I'll say this is something that's important. I say this is how you promote affects the people that you see also. All right, that's why I wonder if what he's saying here is really if he's really being honest, Rashad. Okay, I'll give you an example, right? So you understand what I'm talking about. Every time we have an event, right, a mixer, right, we put up a poster, and most of the time I did a poster myself. Okay. Now, one thing that I noticed, okay, from promoting stuff online, I've been promoting stuff for years, like, okay, because I'm also a graphic designer, is that if you put a poster up, right, with a lot of black people on it, black people will show up. Even though it may say singles mixer, okay, black people will show up. But if you put up a poster with a lot of white folks, a lot of white folks will show up. Even though it says single mixer, it doesn't say whites only. When people see white people on the poster, their mind immediately will say, oh, okay, this is for white people. Oh, this is for black folks. All right. So what we start doing, we'll start throwing different races in there, okay? And I'm not lying when I say this, we're exaggerating. When we start doing that, we start seeing different races come. All right. Like, once again, nowhere on the event does it say it's for one race, but people literally see someone looks like them and say, okay, well, that's for me. They're pitching that towards me. So I have a hard time believing. Now, I'll say this. I have a hard time believing that they're pitching this stuff. All their advertising for Investfest was just pitched towards white or multicultural. I'll say that, okay? But black people just showed up. I think that it was pitched towards black folks. All right, because these guys understand and know that you want to pitch stuff to people who will buy. You understand what I'm saying? I have a very hard time believing that these guys that know about money, at the very least, said, you know what? Let's pitch Investfest. Even though we ourselves are not masters of investing, but let's pitch a thing called Investfest, where we're going to bring people on who are possibly masters of investing. Should we pitch this to a lot of upper class who already know how to invest, or should we pitch it to some black folks who we can find who don't know anything about investing and make money off of them, because Investfest makes money for people buying tickets. Okay, and the answer would be they pitch it to the black folks who they folk didn't have investing knowledge. Okay, so to then say, look, it was never about y'all, that seems very untrue to say. You understand what I'm saying?
They try to do that to
People
all inclusive.
will put labels on you that you yourself didn't put on yourself.
Oh,
You
for
never,
sure.
you never called it the Black Investment Conference.
Yeah. But they try to do that to me. Even with me, they're like, "Oh, you think you're the best black investor?" I'm like, "No, I think I'm the best." Period.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly. It's not a Black financial literacy conference. It's a business conference. It's one of the biggest business conferences in the world. Because that's how they minimize you also. Oh, this is one of the biggest this is one of the biggest Black finance. No, what are you talking about? It's not a financial literacy conference. It's a business investing conference. It's not a Black financial literacy investment community based organization. No. Compare it to Davos. That's it. Compare it to Milken. Don't compare it to any. No disrespect. It's not the NAACP Community Give Back charity for. No, it's not.
I'll say this too, for my entrepreneurs, for those who said you don't get enough investment from Investfest. There was a pitch competition, but I'm gonna say this, and these are my words. Not one of you pitched me to invest in your business all weekend.
I gotta hear this part again. Listen to this.
Fest. There was a pitch competition, but I'm gonna say this, and these are my words. Not one of you pitched me to invest in your business all weekend. Not one. I walked around, I'm talking to people, I'm answering DMs. I've gave out my number to probably, which after this year, that's over with, probably 300 people at the gala. Some of you told me, oh, I got a business, I'm doing this, da da da. I'm raising capital. Can I get a photo? Why didn't you ask me for 50 grand? Put me on the cap table. Let me get 12%. I would have invested. My thing is, if you need something, you have to ask for it and not complain.
I don't agree with that, what he's saying there, that assessment. And the reason why is because these people don't know that, but you do. Okay, most people that are new to acquiring property, businesses, working for themselves, investing, they look at asking somebody for money as something that most people would not want someone to do to them. Okay, just like most people wouldn't want somebody to ask them for money. Okay, if you're paying to get into Investfest, most people, especially people that don't understand about investing at all, would not think that the people that help create the seminar will want you to be asking them for money. And he's criticizing black people, saying y'all didn't even ask me for money, or he's saying, look, y'all should have known to ask me. Okay, now mind you, I've not watched Earn Your Leisure in a very long time. All right, I don't know who this guy is who's talking right now. All right, I know the other guy left. I don't know this guy to the right at all. Or I'm not saying he's nobody. I never seen this guy on the show before because I ain't watched him in years. All right, but what I'm saying is that the reason why I'm saying is that they coming out like this guy's coming out like he's the most well-known celebrity in the world when he really isn't. Or I'm just being truthful here. And he's saying y'all should have known to do this, y'all should have known to do that. How about this? He could have worded that by saying this is what y'all should have done. And there was somebody here that would have let y'all know this is how you pitch, this is what you do. People didn't know because they were there to learn. Okay, you're criticizing them for something that you guys seminar should have taught them. Why didn't you instead, when people say, look, I got a business, you should have said, well, hey, and you got 300 numbers, which means that you had at least 300 encounters. Why not say, hey, have you asked anyone about investing? This is what you should do, X, Y, Z. And then maybe a thought would have appeared in their mind and said, why not ask him? But instead, you just expected them to know. If they knew, they probably wouldn't have been in the seminar in the first place because they already at that point would have enough knowledge not to even need to go to the seminar. But let's just continue. It's just, to me, I see it and I say to myself, okay, so, are you coming from a truthful place here? Or are you coming just to attack and to throw stones back? Because people said that they felt, cheated to a degree by this thing. All right. And I'm not surprised. I would never pay to go to any event that Earn Your Leisure has. I don't think that anybody should. Because these guys have routinely had scammers on And they don't, in my opinion, they don't care about black folks being scammed at all. And they're not the only podcast. There are other podcasts on there, very large, that do the exact same thing. Of course, you have the Breakfast Club. They've had Dr. Umar and other people on. A lot of these big podcasts, they're big because of the things that they do to the black community in a negative manner. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying you have to be negative to the black community to become famous, to be successful, but that's how a lot of these people got where they are. It's as simple as that. They basically pillage the black community, a lot of them. All right, they'll say, oh, we're offering stuff for free. But there's always an upsell. You get there, they say it's free, and it's either 20 minutes in or right before the end, and they've been laying the seeds throughout that whole time you being there. They'll make you feel like you're the worst person in the world for not giving them some money, even though it's free to get in there. All right, and I've been in stuff before. I've seen people do scammy stuff like that. Well, it's free, but they got all kind of stuff. Like you'll say to yourself when you're there, you'll be like, okay, I can see why this is free, because they need to get you in there to pitch you all of this stuff. That's why it's free. They know they can't charge you to pitch it, to just be pitching you this stuff. So they make it free, so then they can pitch you all of this mess. All right, and catch maybe 1 out of 100 people with the stuff. Okay, and get a line to your bank account, get a hook to your bank account,
and pitch everybody. The amount of people I went up to and also have the elevator pitch down, I probably went up to 100 people myself and say, hey, could I make you $1 to $3 million this year for free? I hear nobody.
I gotta hear that part again.
100 people I went up to and also have the elevator pitch down, I probably went up to 100 people myself and say, hey, could I make you $1 to $3 million this year for free?
It seemed like he was lying when he said he was looking left and right, when he said he was looking left and right before. But when he said that, all of a sudden he started looking off to the side. So he went to 100 people and said, can I make you... Did he say, can I give you that, or did he say, can I make you that?
100 people I went up to and also have the elevator pitch down, I probably went up to 100 people myself and say, hey, could I make you $1 to $3 million this year for free?
Okay, so he was saying basically he was trying to sell his services to them. Oh, okay.
I hear nobody else.
Not like a huge admirable thing you're saying. You're saying that you wanted to, sell services, which basically makes he say, oh, it's for free. I'm sure that he's getting something from that. Okay, but let's continue.
And then I get on stage and I got the millionaires with me. Went up to and also have the elevator pitch down, I probably went up to 100 people myself and say, hey, could I make you $1 to $3 million this year for free? I hear nobody else pitching. And then I get on stage and I got the millionaires with me. That's proof of concept that what I'm pitching actually works. So you don't want nothing. I just want...
That's not true. He says proof of concept that because I got millionaires with me, that means that what I got actually works. No, it doesn't. You pay these people to get on. You think that's Serena Williams and all these people just came there for free? No, they had to be paid. But where does the money come from? It comes from him because he's a multimillionaire because everything he does works. No, not necessarily. Okay, these people could be scammers, and they have money from they got money from the funds that they use scamming the black community, and from that money they didn't pay real authorities on these matters or celebrities or whatever the case may be. It happens all the time. Makes them look legitimate when in actuality people they're bringing are legitimate, but they're not. Just like the news, for example. The news has newscasters that are just coming from an honest heart, and they're telling you all kind of mess that some rich, evil-minded guy thought of. And he told these writers, write this stuff down and put it in the mouth of this guy who y'all all like and love. And this guy, it's not in his heart to be wicked, but when he's reading off the teleprompter, there is. All right, so it's the exact same thing with what these people are saying here. Money can do a whole lot. All right, money can make you appear legitimate when you're really not. I just wish that a lot of black folks would stop looking at these people to try to get rich, because the way to get rich is usually not fast. I'll just say that. Okay, it's usually not fast. The way to become successful is not super fast, and I'm not super rich myself. But the biggest riches that I have, which I will always have outside of God, is the fact that I used to work 3 jobs at the same time, overnight jobs, day jobs at the exact same time, and I had no sleep. I had no prayer life either. My life was just in shambles when I was working all these jobs, so I didn't have to be broken with my mom, sleeping on my mom's apartment floor anymore. Okay, so I'm doing all these different type of jobs, doing all these different type of things, trying to get money. All right, one time I was working like that, I was living in the shelter. Okay, I'm doing all this kind of stuff trying to get money, and now for over more than a decade, I'm not gonna tell you guys the exact amount of years, but from many years, I worked for myself. All right. One of my biggest accomplishments. All right. In that I talk to people probably every few weeks, talk to folks, and tell them about, you know, my changed lifestyle. People ask me about different things. I was just on the phone actually before I made this video. On this same phone which I made this video on, I was talking to my friend who works a regular job about these matters. Okay, not lying to y'all or exaggerating. I was just talking to my friend about this, who works downtown in Philadelphia at a certain location. All right, and he's trying to get out of that type of job. Okay, so this stuff is real.
Some money on the back end, my brother. Cool. Pitch more. So for those of you saying, "Oh, I didn't go meet anybody who can invest," I was there. I would have invested with you, but you didn't ask, and that's the thing. You have to ask for what you want. Even in the partnership in this show, I raised my motherfucking hand on public and social media. Hey, my boy, you on the show? I got an idea. What's up? You have to put yourself out there. Nobody's going to throw the money at you.
And that's the great thing. When people be like, yo, there wasn't no...
That's some advice that you should have gave them, okay? The fact that it was that many people that you approached that didn't know that, how about this? People can say, well, these folks watch y'all, okay? Because I didn't see one Earn Your Leisure Investfest poster anywhere online or here in Philly, anywhere. So I didn't even know it was even going on at all. But y'all got 30,000 people from across the world to come to y'all joint, all right? So a lot of folks, what I'm saying is that a lot of folks probably watch y'all. You know they watch y'all. Y'all give all this financial advice on y'all channels. They didn't know that. So you could actually say those people are like the disciples of Earn Your Leisure, and the disciples didn't even know to do that. That doesn't look good on y'all. Not on them, on y'all, because y'all the ones supposed to be teaching them that. Let's continue.
Opportunities. You don't even know what opportunity looks like. We bring in Mike Novogratz inside the vendor marketplace. He's worth $6 billion. He's going out of his way to talk to people, and people walking right past him. They don't even know who he is. Customer service. I had to tell him, like, yo, you know who.
Again, whose fault is that? They watch Earn Your Leisure. They don't know who that is. And if anything, he's damning himself by saying that. Yes, damning their pockets by saying that. That doesn't look good. Okay. There are tons of millionaires and billionaires that most people, black, white, any race, wouldn't know. I know people that are millionaires, okay? And some of them, I didn't even know they were millionaires. I literally was at events with them. I was at one million. I was at a bunch of events with them, okay? And I didn't know they were a millionaire until I seen them on YouTube talking about how they was a millionaire. I was like, you a millionaire? This person a millionaire? I never knew. You know what I mean? So a lot of these folks as millionaires and billionaires don't want you to know they have money. The folks that don't have money once you know they have money. That's how things really work. So that's not even really a good argument there.
Is who stopped by your booth? No, who is he? That's your fault. What can we do? Y'all want to be funny and make little memes and shit like that. Like, y'all never seen $100,000 before, and y'all talking about, yo, this is people with fake jewelry on. This motherfucker's worth $6 billion. But this shit's not funny when you still living in your mom's house at 35 years old. Joke's on you. But on a more positive note, thank you to everybody that came. Ian's presentation, definitely great. My mom said it should have been 2 hours, actually. She was like, 1 hour. She was like, it was too much information. She was like, you crammed too much information in an hour. She was like, it seemed like that was a 2 hour presentation that was condensed into 1 hour. 1 hour for sure. So shout out to Yaki Awaken. Shout out to 19 Keys. Shout out to all of the people that stood on stage by themselves, because that's not easy.
Oh, did he say the bull? I know he didn't say who I thought he said.
Hour for sure.
So shout out to Yaki Awaken. Shout out to...
Hold on. Let me make sure you're not talking about who I'll be right back. Let me hit pause real quick with this video. I'll be right back. Now, he said Yaki Awaken. I thought he was talking about this other guy that's named Awaken. The guy that be online, like, making fun of black men and saying it basically sucked up the women all day long about everything. I forget the guy's name. His name is like, I think his name is Yada Awaken. I think he was talking about him. That guy is like terrible. He be just, I think he almost is like a meme person. Like I don't even think Yada Awaken is even real. Like so he be saying, but I thought he was talking about him. But let's just play on my phone, y'all.
She was like, you crammed too much information in an hour. She was like, it seemed like that was a 2 hour presentation that was condensed into 1 hour.
1 hour for sure.
So Shout out to Yaki Awaken. Shout out to 19 Keys. Shout out to all of the people that stood on stage by themselves, because that's not easy to stand on stage by yourself at all. And with that being said, Red Panda Millionaires is a real thing. I believe it's was it 70 people?
80 this year. 300.
80.
Let's skip forward a little bit, then we're gonna be out of here. And I just want to say this real quick. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to say this real quick too, y'all. Through my short life in this earth, I've seen real folks, I've seen fake folks. Okay, when it comes to, trying to, well, just folks in general, but also when it comes to people that have money, people that want to inspire, help people get knowledge, and then folks that are fake. And to me, it's very easy to tell when somebody is fake. Very, very easy. All right? It's very easy to tell also when somebody may not be fake necessarily, but they don't have genuine motives. And that's probably the biggest thing of all is that a lot of these men and women, they don't have genuine motives. They're not doing this out of a heart that they love people and they want to really help you. They're doing it out of a mindset, or maybe they started that way, but they ended it differently, okay? Or they're doing something different now, okay? I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and see maybe that's what it is. They did originally went out, folks, but maybe the money or the clout that they thought they were getting, whatever the case may be, the eyes on them caused them to feel that they were something that they were not. All right, a lot of these folks I be seeing who talk about this financial stuff, and the thing is, in the black community, financial literacy is something that is needed desperately. It's not something that's not needed. It's extremely needed. But a lot of people that teach in our communities are people that just want to become rich. It's as simple as that. And it's sad, not everyone, but there's too many that just want to become rich. I believe people from Earn Your Leisure, these guys, that's kind of what they do. All right. I don't believe they really have it in their heart to walk the straight and narrow and lead people in a path they know is only right. I believe that for them is, you want to get on our show, pay us his money and come on and say some stuff. It may not be correct, but hey, at the end of the day, we making our money, you making your money, we keep it moving, and that's that. All right. I think they kind of turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to any criticism, which is a real valid criticism, which is why even now they're coming out, Rashad is throwing stones at the black folks who criticize, saying y'all live with your mom in your mom crib and y'all broken, all of this kind of stuff. Okay?
Attack in major cities to begin to shut down. And it reminded me of what happened in New York in the 2000s. There's been a concerted effort to not, I think, have some of our best entrepreneurs be at the forefront. So all the hate that comes online, I think it's crazy. If you're not a builder, how are you tearing down somebody who's built a legendary empire? It makes no sense to me. Shout out to JR.
One thing that you could get from this, what this man is saying is this, and Rashad also is this. They keep on saying we getting hate, 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 right? But what is the hate that you guys are getting? You don't know. And if you were just watching them, you wouldn't know. And the reason why, to me, is quite obvious, is because they don't want to mention it because it's kind of probably true. All right? Kind of probably, yeah. I would say kind of probably because I have not heard all of it myself, but I know what these guys do. That's why I say probably. If I really listen to all of it, I could say for sure. All right? Because I don't know, because I've not listened to what they've been saying. I say kind of probably. But in my opinion, most likely it's true. Probably 90% of what they're saying, all right, about what's going on. Probably more true than what people actually realize also. If a person's going to lie to you once, in my opinion, they'll lie to you once, all right, there's a good chance they'll lie to you again. All right, especially when it comes to your finances. Let's put that in the realm of finances, okay? If someone's in the realm of finances is going to be deceptive once, I want to put them in a position where they can deceive me a second time. Just say that, or about my money. Okay. So looking at this, like I said, they keep on saying, and this is many times in all things like people talk about saying these people that are my detractors, or the new word is the same thing. Talk about his detractors and they say that they're hating, but you won't actually sit there and break down what they're saying. Like 90% of the time, he won't do that, because if he were to do that, he would have no answer for what people are saying. Okay.
Big J, y'all have my love. I'll be back soon. Now I know they'll come back stronger than ever, but the increasing of the rent And I told you personally, it happened with me. Like when I was staying in the medical center, like the landlord saw Market Mondays, and she's like, "You've been hiding your cards at the office." Like, but even when she said that, how the fuck you know I'm putting my cards at the office? Why would you know that? Are you acting like you don't have any money? You made all these people money and da da da. And then my shit went up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta move now. Cool. And people are watching our success, and then saying, okay, you wouldn't charge any other tenant that, but now you're going to take up the rent 6x, 5x, because now the terms have ended. I think it's absolutely crazy. But what do you think?
So what happened?
It happened in Atlanta.
So Camp, exactly. They left because they raised the rent.
From what I've heard, I haven't talked to Big J directly about it or JR directly about it, but from what everybody in Houston is telling me, that the ask on the increase was exorbitant, more than almost anybody else has ever been asked to have. Like, and it's the other brothers, a few people in my building that own clubs, even in doing the construction of the building and the turnaround, you'll find out that the landlord is cool with the construction company, and they're taking along this one. I keep telling you, it's 1,000 ways to take money from you. Like when Rashad is telling that construction story, you're not hearing it properly. He's telling you the pitfalls of, if you don't plan it out, how those people will coerce and raise price, and now you got 54 change orders. Like one of the guys who run one of the clubs in Houston, he went through repairs on the club for 3 years.
This is something that a lot of people that scam do, and I've seen this so many times I can't remember, where they're pitching you a scam. There's a scam in their right hand, okay? But the way it's like, imagine somebody standing in front of you with a box that says scam in their right hand, okay? The way they get you to not look at that is to tell you stories about real people, or maybe about somebody that's not a scammer like they are. And as they do that, you don't look at what they have in their hand, okay? You don't notice that. That's what I feel like these people are doing right here, all right? And what it does is it conflates the scammer that they are with a person that's not a scammer. So, and as you look at them, and you're looking at them by looking at what they're saying, by paying attention to what they're saying, that's how you're really looking at them. It's not their appearance, but you're looking at what they're saying. It's how you focus on them. And you focus on their words, and their words are telling you, don't look at me, look over here, which is what most scammers do. They, in that way, are able to calm you, to make you lower your guard, calm yourself, and let your senses drop down. And then with the doors, and the gates of the city down, they then can come and rush in and take stuff out, which is your findings, without you even knowing what just happened. All right. We're actually going to stop right here because this video is now almost 40 minutes long. I want to thank you guys for watching. You can watch this yourself on their channel if you want to watch the rest of it. All right. I wanted to advise it. This is your boy, Brother Winston, using this video from Earn Your Leisure, just commentating on it with fair use. All right. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe. But if you have someone else you want me to talk about or comment, there's a video you want me to commentate on, let me know. Okay. Let me know in the comments. Email me at Brother Winston, like my YouTube channel, brotherwinston@gmail.com. God bless, peace.